Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started. Good morning,
Okay.
everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm Teresa Edwards, VP of Membership. Welcome to our member meeting, April member meeting. This year is starting to go into hyper.
Flying by. Right.
Yes,
Flying by.
it is flying by. So we got a full day for, well, not all day, so I'm not gonna scare you, but a full meeting. So I'm gonna go ahead on and kick this off to our amazing president, Ms. Robin Watson.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I love when we can get together in person, but it's also great to see everyone's face this morning. So happy Saturday. Just want to give you a quick update on, this is WIFTA's 50th anniversary. So WIFTA 50 is in full effect. If you haven't noticed, we have been out in the community, partnering a lot, doing lots of cool events, and just letting people know that like WIFT is here, as the premier organization to partner with, to talk about this industry, to be, a resource for our members and non-members. So we're just excited to be out there. You'll start seeing us, providing some social media and spotlighting some women who have, made WIFTA, what it is today. So you'll start seeing that in our newsletters and on social medias. We're going to do some interviews, and you'll get some key insights from them about their careers and all. So we're excited about that. And of course, we have our signature programming that's been consistent for years. That we will be having our education. We have Jennifer Carriere today, so providing education, but also just fun get-togethers. We were involved in the 404 Atlanta 404 Day. That was great for us. So you'll start seeing us out more in the community. Not a lot more than we have been, but just spotlighting ourselves a little bit more. And of course, with the 50 wouldn't be anything, without culminating to our gala event that we have every year, which is our, biggest fundraiser for the organization and for giving out scholarships. And we can't wait till we can announce when that's going to be in the fall, where it's going to be. So we're just excited about the year, and we appreciate all the support, and you being members, or if you're not a member, like just supporting WIFTA as a whole. And so I will end there and just say thank you for joining us on this Saturday. And I will turn it over to Ariel, who is our VP of Special Events.
Hello, everyone. How are you? It's so great to see your faces, whoever I can see, and names. So I am excited about the 50th. Coming up, we do have some gala committee meetings, short film showcase meetings, and women in productions volunteer meetings in the future. In May, actually, we'll start these meetings. So if you're interested in joining any of these committees, please let me know so that I can actually let Teresa know, because she needs to vet everyone to make sure they are members and that you are ready to volunteer for the committee. So if you're interested, please send an email over to Teresa so I can start sending you a calendar invite. So those calendar invites will start coming out in May for everyone, so that you'll be involved in all those planning meetings. That's all the updates I have right now, because we are excited about the gala, and we want to make sure that we roll this out in a proper way so everyone can feel the energy that we are having behind the scenes, just planning out everything. So if you have any questions in regards to volunteering for these committees or any upcoming events or programs, just let me know. And Glenetta is doing a great job with all our programming, and I hope you're enjoying or attending some of these great events and programs that we have coming up and have had in the past. So Glenetta, I'll send it over to you so you can go into programming.
One more.
Awesome. Thank you, Ariel.
Hold
Good
on
morning,
1 second.
ladies. Go ahead, Teresa.
Yeah.
Can you put in the chat which committees or which volunteer?
Yeah, I can.
So they can, when they send me an email, I can know which one they want. So
Okay, no worries.
thank you.
Perfect. Good morning. Good morning. I am Glenetta Griffin, your VP of Programming. Some of you I've met, some of you I have not, but I'm looking forward to meeting you all. So I'll be really quick. I'm going to run through some updates and some great things that we have coming up for WIFTA 50. First of all, we have a new survey that's coming out. You'll receive it this week internally through the WIFTA portal. So if you are an active member, you're going to receive it. The survey is just going to have some questions on there. What do you like most about the program that you've already received? What's working, what's not working, what could help you further your film and television career? A lot of great things that are in it, but we want your feedback and we want to know what's working, what kind of classes or training would you like to see? Anything that will help you. So we're going to have that. Be on the lookout. Please share the feedback so that we know, how to set programming and events that is going to help you with your career and where you are now. With that, we also have an amazing training today with Jennifer. I'm going to introduce her in just a second. Now, it is a 90-minute training. It may be a little shorter, but what I want you to know is that this is an amazing career, the script supervisor. If you are not familiar with what a script supervisor does, I want you to stay on. We are recording this, but I want you to stay on and make sure you get to the Q&A and ask Jennifer your questions because she is a very busy lady. And this career is it's something that a lot of people don't even know what a script supervisor does. So if you didn't go to film school and you didn't learn it, this will be something that you definitely want to get this training from Jennifer, and she's absolutely amazing, and you want to know how to connect with her outside of it. So really quick, coming up on next week, I won't go over the whole year. You guys are going to get a whole programming schedule, but also next week on April 18th, we're going to be at CNC Movie Studio. It's in Marl, Georgia. We're going to take a tour of the studio, do an in-person mixer, and we're going to have an industry chat. So I do want you guys to come out with us on next Thursday. Make sure you come out, take some pictures on the sets, and then hopefully you can go back and film your own projects in that studio as well. So with that being said, and if you have any questions, drop them in the chat and we'll try to get those answered for you, okay? So I'm going to introduce, anybody else want to add anything to that real quick before I introduce Jennifer? No. Okay. So that will complete April. Okay. So Jennifer has made hundreds of episodes of cable television and dozens of films as a script supervisor and producer. Becoming an excellent script supervisor led her directly to becoming a high volume TV producer. A former engineer with a love of systems and solving problems, Jennifer created a highly disruptive and efficient method for breaking aspiring filmmakers into Hollywood in record-setting time via the powerful and overlooked script supervisor role. And I will let her tell you more about this amazing role. Please help me welcome Jennifer. They're clapping for you. I know you can't hear them though.
Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? Now I'm trying to see you because I'm screen sharing. Can you guys see my slide here, which says from aspiring to insider, fast track your path? Can you guys see that?
I can see it. If you can't see it, let us know, okay?
Okay, yeah, for whatever
We're getting
reason.
some yeses.
Okay, got you. Okay, I am going to go ahead and launch right in, but please feel free to interrupt me at any time. Not a problem. And if there's a time issue, guys, in terms of runtime here, just let me know and we can make it shorter or longer or whatever you want to do. I'm here for you, okay? So I'm Jennifer Carriere, Script Supervisor CEO. I am here to talk about how to fast track your path to the director's inner circle on film and TV sets via the Script Supervisor role, okay? The inner circle on film and TV sets, that's where magic happens, of course. It is wonderful. You can start on your very first day as a script supervisor, right next to the director, like sharing a brain with them and concentrating with them all day long. So it's a super cool opportunity. I see, okay, questions for me in the chat will be coming up. Great. This presentation is densely packed with information. I'm going to lecture, share slides, share some videos that explain kind of tricky concepts, and then take all of your questions. If you can just please keep a running list of questions. I'm here to answer every single one. My time is with you for as long as you need me here. And again, we can cut it short if you need to, okay? So many of my students, okay, I do train script supervisors. Many of my students go on to become professional screenwriters, directors, and producers thanks to this incredible role, the script supervisor. The film industry is a referral-based industry. The script supervisor role gives you access and relationships. Many of our people are having early success, as in literal weeks after starting using this kind of unique method that I've created, which was born out of a career in extremely high pressure TV. So I created a system that is basically fail proof, okay? So when we talk about the film industry here, I do mean anywhere in the world where film or TV production is happening. Of course, there are tax incentives all over the US and the world. We get to enjoy an incredible tax incentive here in Atlanta, which means that the film industry is right at our doorstep, okay? In every tax incentive location in the world, they need trained local talent, okay? So productions receive tax rebates to hire local talent, and so people get to take advantage of that, okay? As I mentioned earlier, the creative inner circle on film and TV sets includes the director, screenwriter, actors, producer, and you, the script supervisor, okay? So you're in a gig that puts you working in lockstep with those creatives, and you're an authority yourself from your very first day, okay? So you don't have to work your way up through a huge department to get to the top. You're a head of department from your first day. So if you have film dreams, but you aren't paying your bills with film industry income yet, I feel that this is the best kept secret in the film business, hiding in plain sight. I call it a secret because many people don't fully understand what the job entails, okay? Again, director, producer, screenwriter, adjacent role that you can start getting paid work and work in the inner circle from your first day. No experience is required to start. Surprisingly, you can start with 0 experience. We have a template that we use for resume and cover letter creation that will help you with that. I can explain all of that if you have any questions. You will hear directly from some of the over 100 people that I've trained using this disruptive method to make huge gains in their career. I do like to have my former students tell people, you know, about the method that they're using, so that you're not hearing it from me, you're hearing it from the people who are doing it in like literal weeks, okay? We see extraordinary success with this method because there is truly a misunderstanding of what script supervision really is, and I'm trying to change that, okay? It's not always fully taught in film programs, believe it or not. Sometimes film students are the last people to bring a script supervisor on board, but in the professional world, directors and producers cannot shoot without them because they know it saves them a fortune in post-production costs and reshoots by having a script supervisor who is there truly representing the editor while we're shooting it live, okay? So the professional world, it cannot be missed, okay? It cannot be skipped. It's truly kind of a mystery though, outside of those professionals, the director, screenwriter, producer circle on professional film sets. So that creates an amazing opportunity for people to take advantage of, okay? It makes you the story authority on set. If you love storytelling, this gig makes you responsible for making sure that everything your director, that your cast is shooting is actually going to work, is going to be usable in the edit. So in a sense, this gives you automatic veto power to steer the director and the actors in the direction that you need them to go for it to work in the edit. So you do find yourself in high stakes conversations with the director, saving the producers money on set. You're supporting the actors end up your best friends, honestly, because there's such an intimate, trusting relationship required. So we can dig more into that later if you like. You're representing the screenwriter on set, of course, ensuring that the story is told as written and intended by them. And trust me, there are misinterpretations of the script all the time. Okay, so you're truly ensuring that the screenwriter's voice and vision is made reality on set. Okay, we can dig more. I don't want to waste too much time trying to explain this relationship. If you have specific questions about this, please let me know. But you're representing the screenwriter, unless your screenwriter is there on set with you, which sometimes happens in a TV pilot situation or certain projects, but mostly we're there without the screenwriter and we're there to represent them, okay? We are directing the editor how to cut the film, okay? The editor has a huge creative role in the filmmaking process, and we have to transmit the director's vision via a set of specific notes to the editor, and also talking with the editor on the phone and emailing and so forth. So that's a very important relationship as well. So what I'm saying is the role ties together at least 5 creative filmmaking disciplines, okay, all right within that creative inner circle. If you're already a film professional, Awesome. This role will allow you to leverage existing relationships now and take you further if you want to. Hanging out, having high stakes conversations with directors, actors, and producers on set, okay? I was a complete beginner. When I got into film, I had not had any film education whatsoever. In fact, I had kind of an office droney career in the civil engineering world. I worked in a cubicle doing the same thing every day. It was a bit challenging for me because I do love unpredictability and adventure. Now I have my pick of projects. I get to travel, you know, if I want to, or stay home if I want to. Right now I'm on a location shoot, which I'm extremely pleased about. Yeah, it's basically an education in film that you're paid to receive. Okay, so it's like a paid transfer of knowledge live in the field on set. Okay, that's one of the things that I love about the role. I do make many multiples of my old civil engineering salary as a script supervisor, which is also a wonderful blessing. I am nobody special. I am a completely ordinary person from a very tiny city with, again, no formal film education. But when I discovered this Hollywood gig, it definitely glamorized my life and changed my world. So it was super cool. The key to breaking into the inner circle swiftly is bypassing the gatekeepers and skipping the line of millions competing by starting on the inside, okay? Let's talk about what the script supervisor name actually means. I feel that it is a misnomer and that it is kind of old-timey and outdated. I feel that it only tells part of the story. I call a script supervisor a mini director, mini producer, screenwriter representative, actor wingman, editor advocate, all rolled into one amazing film job, okay? And you start wearing those creative hats from your very first day. Again, no working your way up through a huge department or entry level positions, okay? With my disruptive method, my people learn in 16 hours of training, and then I shove them onto set into the real world, okay? So there's no waiting around to get a PhD in script supervision the way we do it here. I'm all about putting people to work right away, okay? As a script supervisor, again, I'm a mini producer. I'm paid to solve problems on set. I have applied this to a problem that I have discovered within the industry, which is that sometimes we cannot find qualified people, okay? So in the case of the strikes, the recent strikes where, you know, everyone was not working, that, you know, I'm not talking about that situation, but when all things are normal in the industry, we really do struggle to find qualified people, okay? So, there are many people who would like to break into film who don't find that they have the access, okay? So we have a problem on the industry side, and we have a problem where many people can't get access. So I feel that the solution is the same, and that we should be putting more people into, more qualified people into the role of the script supervisor and get you all together and helping each other. So I wanna briefly share an example of how this works in the real world. So you're not just taking it from me. So I'm just going to share a quick little video here. Let me make sure I'm sharing this with you. Ooh. You know, I don't see the screen share option anymore. Do I still have screen share capability,
You do,
guys?
you have it.
Okay, okay, so let me try. Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you so much.
No
Here we go.
problem.
Let me know if you cannot hear this audio, guys. I have it turned up here.
It's almost like I didn't realize how script supervision can really change the trajectory of my career because eventually my goal is to direct. She even was like, okay, I have another film that I want to do. I want to bring you on. And then for a film that I want to direct, she's like, I have a production company. Let's produce it. And wonderful. I found like so many different networks of people like, well, I'm producing on this, but I also like to write, like, let me help you write this. Any goal that you set for yourself is very hard to complete if you don't have support system or discipline or someone telling you to do it. It's just the way it works. It's why when a personal trainer is telling you to do 5 more push-ups, you're going to do it.
The knowledge hoarding thing is a problem, and I'm really glad that that's not how it is here in this program, and that we're bringing new talent into the industry who can do it right and who get, you know, this consistent, amazing feedback, who get these consistent, you know, amazing results. You know, it's like you script supervised a couple of short student films, and then you're on a lifetime film and they're telling you to clear your calendar for next month and stuff, you know, like it really is a remarkably fast transformation. If you have a mentor and someone to help lift you up and train you the right way.
So I'm going to share one more quick example of that and then move on to some more lecture. But that's what I'm talking about. You know, we like fast action. We like getting you straight into the role and just starting to do it in a professional setting and learning as you get paid. So that's my favorite approach and the one that we use when we do it my way here. Let me screen share just one more example of this and then we'll lecture. Come on. Okay, here we go.
How long did it take for you to land a paying gig?
3.5 weeks total to landing my first paying gig.
And what did you find out from the production company when you landed and started doing your first paying gig?
I said, I'm here because I, really wanted to get onto more sets and I wanted to sit next to the director. I wanted to sit next to the producer and the first AD and learn all these incredible skills and understand what holes I might need to fill before I step into the seat of the director. And they said, well, your holes are, like pretty minimal at this point. Would you want to consider directing? Like, do you have a script that you'd want to pitch to our company and we'll help you fundraise and we'll help connect you to investors who might be able to seal the deal. So I'm currently working on writing a Christmas movie, direct my first movie, which is the whole point of doing this. So
and they offered for you to direct. I mean, basically you're being commissioned to write a screenplay for them to produce and let you direct.
Yes, and he was like, if you write a script and you start the fundraising, I will help you finish the fundraising and I will help you sell it. And so that was just like the cherry, not even a cherry on top, the sundae on top of the sundae. Anyone's worlds can open if you're looking to break into this world of film production.
So if you're keeping track, that's 2 brand new script supervisors who had incredible opportunities simply thanks to being awesome script supervisors and those producers who hired them to script supervise, then hire them to direct and write. Okay, so 2 different instances there. There are many more, but let's get back to some lecturing and learning here. Okay. So what is the very first step to becoming a script supervisor? That step is taking action now, okay? So getting right onto set and just starting to do it, okay? Again, we don't wait till we have a PhD in script supervising to start. There is a bias to action. We need to learn exactly what we need to know and no more, okay? So just to get started. So let us go over your daily steps if you wanna grab your pen and write these down or just listen and follow along. And again, let me know if you have any questions about this, but this is what your day as a mini director is typically going to look like, okay? Overview of your daily steps. Actually, I'll have this in a video for you to knock it out very quickly and efficiently here. Here's our daily steps, okay.
Let's start with the night before. You'll review tomorrow's scheduled work and location and make a plan to get there good and early. Map your route to set your alarm and set your backup alarm and pack your bag with healthy snacks. Film sets are super high energy environments. I want you to feel light on your toes and alert, so pack healthy grab and go stuff. Always arrive early and eat breakfast and then go and set up your set. Pull out the scenes you're scheduled to shoot today and review them as everyone else walks in. The director will arrive and you guys will chat while you wait for the actors to come to set, still in their street clothes. You guys are about to step into private director's rehearsal. The purpose of this rehearsal is to experiment with how you're going to tell the scene. The director and actors will try different blocking ideas. You will keep them on track with dialogue, action, and story notes. You are the story authority on set. After private rehearsal, you will list all the potential camera angles and discuss shots with the director and DP. Then you go to marking rehearsal, which is just a repeat of the final rehearsal you guys decided on, but now you're going to show it to the whole crew. Let hair, makeup, props, and other departments know if you have any matching notes for them for the scene. Have a discussion with the producer about how many shots you guys have planned and what the order of events will be. Pre-fill out your paperwork to the greatest extent possible, which saves you time at wrap when your brain is tired. Cameras are lining up the first shots while the actors finish getting camera ready. You guys will shoot your first wide angle of the scene. Okay, this next step is very, very important. You will discuss with the director which takes of the wide angle you're going to match the subsequent camera angles to, and then you will work with the actors on matching their performances to the director's favorite wide angle takes. All day long, you'll be stepping in to help the actors with performance notes, dialogue tweaks, notes from the director, or you'll just be rehearsing and running lines with them. You will be working very closely with the actors, and you should establish warm, trusting relationships with them. The director will tell you as you shoot how they want the editor to cut the scene. You will direct the editor how to cut the scene with your script supervisor daily notes. As you get closer to completing the scene, be ready to update the producer with how many shots you've done and how many you have left. You guys complete this scene. You button up this scene's paperwork. Those actors step away, and then you repeat the whole process again with the next scheduled scene. And that's your day.
So anybody have any questions about daily steps? I will take them now since we're on the topic. I feel like it's pretty straightforward, but anybody, any thoughts or questions on this process, guys? Raise your virtual hand if you have something. If not, we will keep going.
I do have a question. I wasn't sure if I should put it in the chat or just
I'm sorry, I
ask out
didn't
loud.
mean to contradict them. You're right. They did say put it in the chat. My
No,
apologies.
that's okay. Go ahead. It's fine if they want to
Okay,
be on
thank you.
camera.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so sorry.
No,
I wasn't typing fast enough. The paperwork that you mentioned in terms of filling out while in between those discussions and rehearsals, is that paperwork that I guess is are you given paperwork to fill out? Do you create the paperwork?
Gotcha.
That kind of
Yes,
thing.
I understand your question. So I have created paperwork that I just use and that my students and members use. So you can find some templates online. They might not necessarily fit, your needs exactly. Simpler is better, honestly, when it comes to paperwork. So I mean, I'm happy to share my templates with you. But it's very specific set of notes that the production and that the editor will need from you to help them, interpret the day's, work on the production side, and then the editor notes are the thing that really, really matters because you're transmitting the director's vision, but there's a lot going on in the notes. Okay. So it's a huge amount of cinematic language, but shorthand, you're shooting really, really quickly and you're pulling notes out of your director in a high pressure setting really quickly while they're focused on actors and, cinematography and things. So you end up sort of getting like psychically connected to your director and using psychology to pull out of them what you need so that you can tell the editor. I'll tell you, if the editor had the luxury of being on set, they would be creating their own roadmap in the exact way that we're doing. They'd be giving themselves the exact shorthand notes so that they can then go and cut in, in post-production, but they can't be on set most of the time. Okay. They're usually like in a dungeon cutting, processing dailies and so forth. So the feature that I'm on right now, actually, we do have an on-set editor, which is amazing. I love having an on-set editor. It helps me, I go to them at the end of the day and talk about run times and how quick the cut, turned out to be, if it's like, similar to what I predicted it would be. It's great, but you rarely have the benefit of an editor on set. So sorry if I'm digressing and getting too far from your question, but yes,
no problem. Thank you.
Work templates that work specifically for the script supervisor.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jennifer, we have a hand on Monet mic. Monet, can you unmute really quickly? Go ahead with your question.
Hi, awesome information thus far, really enjoying it. Question is, are script supervisors involved in any like pre-production meetings that maybe discuss the first day of set, expectation or anything like that?
Big time. Actually, that's going to be like the next segment coming up. And if we have time, I have a whole pre-production work exercise for you, but I don't want to, take too much of you guys' time. So the answer is absolutely yes. I've actually been in pre-production for the last week and a half, and my first shoot day is Monday. So my pre-production specifically for this film has involved, getting an early copy of the script, obviously, and then I rehearsed with the director and cast for 3 days, which is a huge blessing. We don't normally get that amount of time, especially, depending on the budget of the project or in TV where where we have very, very tight schedules. We don't always get that beautiful extra low pressure rehearsal time. So I got that on this feature, and it was great. So I'm walking into the shoot very, very prepared for the heaviest scene work, okay? But normally what we're doing is breaking down and timing the script and looking for story inconsistencies and putting on our producer hat. As I mentioned, we're mini producers, so we're putting on a producer hat in pre-production and heading off any mistakes before they happen when we're already on set. And it's incredibly expensive to problem solve and troubleshoot on set with cast and crew on the clock, okay? So our they say, movies and TV shows are made in pre-production, and I feel that that is very true, that it applies very well to the script supervisor's job. Did any of that not make sense, Monet?
No, I followed very well. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Good.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to do 2 more, and then we're going to let Jennifer jump back into her presentation. So Jennifer, if any of these questions are going to come up in your presentation, just let us know and we'll hold out. So
Okay.
Epiphany wants to know, is there a worksheet, and can you give examples of what notes might sound like?
Yes. Okay. So the notes themselves are actually called, so you do your daily progress report. That's on the production side. Okay. So you're kind of echoing a lot of the notes that the assistant director is going to give to production. But when it comes to editor notes, our main pieces of paperwork are the facing and lined pages and the editor's log. So we're using cinematic language to describe what the shot is on every camera. We're using camera lines to demonstrate what the cameras are actually shooting on the typed page, okay? So we're showing the editor, here's a visual representation of what A camera shot, what it didn't see. Here's a visual representation of what B camera shot on the same setup, what it saw or did not see camera. There can be 8 cameras, there can be many cameras, okay? So we're using lines to represent to the editor so they can see where the shots began and ended and what they covered. And then we're using our script notes, the cinematic language, with the notes that we're pulling out of our director and any other notes that may have happened that the editor would need to know about. For example, a flag fell into the frame at this moment in the shot, so that portion of the shot is unusable. Or Monet's hair didn't match in take 2. She flipped it behind her shoulder, so that's not going to match our 3-shot NG from whatever point that happened. Katrina added a bit of improv prompted by the director. The director loves it. Please use take 3 for Katrina's speech on yada yada. We're literally just telling the editor what happened, but using specific forms and shorthand to transmit that information. Because it's all very speedy process. Yeah.
Awesome. Culture Rated Productions wants to know, can you speak on the balance of inserting yourself to the director?
That's a great question. Okay. So I think I mentioned earlier that we have to use a lot of psychology to both get information from the director, to get, I didn't mention this earlier, to get cooperation on continuity with our other departments. It's a whole cooperative effort. So communication is incredibly important, not just with the director, but with your other, your cast and your crew as well. Okay. So we have to read their personality. The first thing that I do normally when I introduce myself is, hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm going to be your script supervisor. I'm so excited to work with you. How do you like to receive notes when we're rolling? Do you prefer that I just point to something on the page if I see something that's going wrong? Do you mind if I, how do you like to be interrupted when you're trying to concentrate? I guess it's a polite way of saying, how do you like to be interrupted with my notes while you're trying to concentrate on, the creative of the scene? I do the same thing. I ask them how they want me to talk to the actors. When I introduce myself to actors, I make sure I'm letting them feel, trust and warmth from me right away, because I'm going to have to step in when we're all under pressure, when they're, in an emotional state of mind. And I have to step in and say, I'm so sorry, but that last speech, you were sitting up until this point, and in this last take, you stood up, so we won't be able to use that. We have to be able to match it to the 3 shots. So would you please continue sitting until this point in the speech, or something like that? I mean, I'm giving them, pretty invasive, instructions when they're in character, and I have to have a relationship with them where they're willing to receive it. I hope I'm not over answering the question, but that, I feel like the balance of inserting myself with the director is, I have to just be direct. I'm meant to be there. I'd be doing them a disservice if I didn't give them a note just because they're not wishing to be interrupted. So you have to do it respectfully. You have to read, how they like to receive notes. But at the end of the day, we can't not give notes to the director. We would not be doing our job. If I, skipped giving an important note to a director because I didn't want, it was an intense moment and I didn't want to break their concentration. And a couple of days after they see the dailies and see that the shot didn't work because there was a continuity issue, they're going to turn to me and go, what were you thinking? Why didn't you tell me? I need to know. Now we have to reshoot or something. So it's really, really very important that we make ourselves heard. And part of making yourself heard is knowing how to communicate with people, so communication skills are really, really important in this job.
Awesome. Last one. And then after this one, we're going to get back into the presentation and we'll answer the last questions after her next section.
Sure.
So Cherie Berkeley wants to know, how long are your work days and do you need to be based in LA?
Don't need to be based in LA at all. So I don't know, Sharit, if you were here at the beginning of the presentation, but there are, there's film production all over the globe. There are tax incentives all over the US. In Atlanta, we're so lucky. We are one of the biggest production cities in the country. Okay, so absolutely not need it. And, we actually have really, really wonderful rates on the East Coast as compared to West Coast. Okay, another little surprise. So no, you don't need to be based in LA. Our work days can be anywhere. I mean, a standard work day is honestly 12 hours. I'm not going to lie. It's a 12-hour workday generally. Now, there has been a huge amount of pressure from actors, from crew members against, these really, killer days, 14 plus hours. I mean, those of us in the industry for a long time have had 16-hour days. We've had 18-hour days, and every now and again you hear a horror story about someone falling asleep driving home. So we're all really trying to push back on that and get, fair and safe working hours. In Europe, they tend to do French hours, which is a 10-hour day, and they take a walking lunch. Frankly, I would much prefer that. And I love when shows do the 10-hour day. But it's not very popular in the US with studios and production companies. They like the 12-hour day. So you can end up in 12 to 14-hour days, especially in TV. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see where we were here. Okay. Screen share. Sorry, I'm just getting my bearings back here. Okay, yes, so these steps truly do become second nature to you with just a few days on set. Okay, it might sound like you're doing a lot, and we are doing a lot, but once you are in the role for honestly just a couple of days and you start to realize like, okay, I'm not actually supposed to be doing 15 things at once. I'm just doing a number of steps rapidly and I'm focusing on, what is most important right now. So I'm learning how to prioritize all of the things that I'm supposed to be doing. My students and members, on day 1 and 2, they're calling me and texting me all day. That's one of the things they get my phone number, and I'm coaching them through their first couple of days on set. And then like days 4 and 5, I don't hear from them. And then we debrief after the show and they're like, I am so good at this. Like everyone told me on day 3, I'm the best they've ever worked with. This is so much fun. So what I'm saying is the steps truly do become second nature, even though it seems like a lot. Okay. And it's kind of like considered to be a famously tricky position. But if you have a system that helps you prioritize, what matters in the moment and you ignore everything else, it really actually simplifies the whole thing. Okay. So I created this blueprint for doing it this way from 15 years of blood, sweat, and tears on really, really high pressure TV. That's not necessarily for everyone. I like high pressure TV. I like being busy. I like being, just charged up all day and like always having some kind of fire to put out or rather get ahead of. Okay. I enjoy that. And so, but honestly, you can train with this method in 16 hours. And I truly believe it's watertight and fail-proof. We see it over and over. Okay. So I I feel like there are many people who try to break into, possibly creative roles in filmmaking through more traditional paths. And the problem with that is you're competing with so many others trying to break in the same way. So it's hard to cut through the noise. It's like there are too few openings for too many hopefuls and you get crowded out. So of course, there are many people graduating film school too. So that's, increasing more, or rather adding competition into the marketplace every year. So I truly feel that the script supervisor gig is the antidote to getting crowded out in an oversaturated industry, okay? I will caution you that some people don't really want you to know about this. Some people working in the role would rather, not have a lot of other people. It's kind of like they don't want the secret out because it really is such a cool gig. But I feel that the knowledge hoarding thing is a problem and it's unsustainable. And I know this from the producer side of it, okay? Like, getting into bidding wars over script supervisors, not being able to get people on a show on location. I actually had this male producer call me from Boston. I was in Atlanta. He was clearly on the brink of tears. He had been on the phone for like 30 hours. He was trying to find anyone who could come fill in for someone who got COVID on set in Boston. He couldn't finish his shoot without someone. There was tons of continuity that they would have needed to match, and he was desperate. Okay, so I got on the phone and started trying to find people for him. He was desperate because production delays are extremely costly. Okay, so I tell you, the industry really does need qualified people in the role. Okay, your true purpose on set is sharing a brain with the director, supporting the actors in the performance, story, and character choice arena. So we have lots of intimate conversations with the actors about these things, which that was something that surprised me when I got into the role. My best friends are actors now. I mean, you end up in these really intimate, friendships with actors because you have to have a lot of trust. We are, of course, representing the screenwriter while shooting, wearing a producer hat by preventing film flubs or miscommunications and wasted time, which means money wasted on set. So you truly are a crucial link between departments and you're facilitating efficiency on set. I guarantee you the director is going to turn to you when they're stuck or confused. It's like you truly need to be a step ahead of the director and know what they're about to ask you next. So you're like the set superhero every single day. And by embracing this authoritative role, you are going to create outstanding results for your productions, and you'll be rewarded with more job offers and more raises and more promotions and titles than you know what to do with. Again, as I said before, I like to have other people tell you this so that you're not just hearing it from me. So I'm just going to pop over to a little brief case study snippet where you'll see what I was just describing there. Nice and short. Keep it moving here. Here we go.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I literally, all of them are like, you're on every project we do from now on. They're like, we will call you. He's editing it too. And he's like, I want you in the editing room with me. And I'm like, I have a rate for that. You're gonna have to pay me.
They'll probably promote you to associate producer on their next one.
Well, the director was like, I'm going to give you co-directing credit.
I cannot believe the directors over there telling you, please allow me to give you a co-director credit.
Oh my God. And one of the EPs, I had a really great conversation with one of the EPs. He's like, I really only do features. And I said, I'll write a feature. And he's like, okay, when you get it done, send it to me. I'm actually in the middle of one right now. And then I'm working on a proof of concept that the other producer told me that he wanted to read. And he's like, I have this idea, I want to do this. And I said, okay, we'll shoot that next. And I said, and then I'm going to send you one. And he's like, okay, you send me yours, I'll send you mine. We talked about budgets. Pretty much, I will work with those people for the rest of my life.
That right there could open so many doors, Adriana, because there
I know
opportunities for female directors.
Yeah.
So I was super proud of her. Let me get back to our little presentation here. Okay, here we are. Sorry guys, let me screen share properly this time. Things keep moving around on my toolbar. There we go. Can you guys see that superhero slide?
I can see that.
Okay, cool. So many film professionals honestly don't truly understand the power of this role. I mean, of course, the producers get it, the directors get it, editors get it. But for example, I was a union camera assistant and did not know what a script supervisor was. And thankfully, one of my camera assistants was like, you ought to go talk to that guy on set. Like your personality is kind of well suited for this position that he's doing. I'm like, what is that? that man ended up becoming my mentor, blessed me with so much, help and progress in my career. He ended up living with me rent-free for 2 years because his family was in Virginia. But that's how meaningful having a mentor helped me get my career started meant to me. So it's kind of like those of us who have figured out how awesome this role is, we're in an underground club or something. And one of my awesome women, Tiara, actually texted me this. This is a quote from her. I feel like script supervisors are a club, and I just got a new membership, and then I got her on a feature, and she was super grateful and all that. So that was fun. So, if skyrocketing your influence, oh gosh, I lost my place here. So sorry there. There we go. If skyrocketing your influence and working with directors, screenwriters, and actors and producers so that you can get your own work in front of them, past the gatekeepers, is something that you're interested in, you might want to think about script supervision. And I do hope that you can see that with the right training, you can walk into this role and get huge career gains, even as a total beginner or a pro in the industry. Like Andriana actually cut out a huge amount of that case study, but she started in the industry when she was like 10 as an actor. Okay, so she has done every role in the industry, and then being a script supervisor, which then helped her get a co-director credit and some screenplay options basically from the producers. That is the one that she said, this is what I want to do forever. I want to be a script supervisor and a screenwriter. So okay, now we need to cover one of the most important parts of your job, which is prep. We touched on this before a little bit. Movies and TV shows are made in pre-production. It is very, very important that we carefully plan out the entire shoot and account for everything that could go wrong or slow us down while shooting. And I mean, the script supervisor has to be thinking like a producer. It applies to our work in a major way. We begin our prep work by creating the one document that they simply can't make movies without. As you know, films and TV shows are shot totally out of order in whatever way is the most time efficient and cost effective. So the script supervisor has to create a roadmap for making everything, that we shoot seem as though it were shot perfectly sequentially. Okay, so that is a super easy and fun process when we are creating this roadmap. It is the continuity breakdown. It will save the show if you do it correctly, okay? And it establishes you as an authority before you ever roll a single frame of film. So they will be able to see in pre-production, a brand new production, they'll be able to see that you're a rock star before you ever get to set based upon your prep work, okay? So in the interest of time, I'm going to show you the broad strokes of this in only a couple of minutes so that you know what to do to create one of these. So let me go ahead and screen share another little video with you. Speed, speed, speed. Here we go. Where's our, yeah, here we go.
Let's go over an example of catching something that doesn't quite track in the script, okay? So let's say we have a scene where a character named Lauren is just about to call it an early night and get in bed and go to sleep. As she, in her bedroom, unfolds her bedspread, she gets a panicked phone call from a friend asking her to rush over to her friend's house to deal with an unnamed emergency. Okay, so the script says that Lauren just grabs her keys and rushes out the door straight from almost getting into bed. In the next scene, she peels up in her car to her friend's house and pounds on the door. When the friend opens the door, Lauren learns that she's been duped. There's no emergency. There's a huge surprise party waiting for her. She's shocked, thrilled, and walks right on in and starts partying with everybody else. Did you catch any story inconsistency there? If Lauren was just getting into bed, but then rushes out the door immediately and ends up at a party and parties all night, what clothes should she be wearing? Is she in her PJs, or was she going to bed fully dressed?
Okay, so I wanted to share that with you so that you would see what an example of, catching a story inconsistency that could lead to a huge problem on set is like. So let's look at what the elements of doing a continuity breakdown are here. Okay. This slide is to demonstrate how closely the actors work with the script supervisor. That's my little script supervisor avatar. Here's our actor friend. We are very much in the trenches together, and we're protecting the actors and the storytelling with our script supervisor continuity breakdown. Okay. All right, let's see where we are here. Okay, so here's what we do. We have to read the script. We have to read it again. And we have to know the story at like a literal gut level. Okay, so you're truly reading the script a lot in pre-production and gaining a deep understanding of the story, characters, and timeline. You will be hit with questions that you're not expecting in the rush of, production on set. Let's imagine that you're halfway into a shoot and we've been falling behind in the schedule, and we're outside shooting and we're supposed to be shooting a daytime scene, but we're rapidly losing the light. And the DP is like, well, let's just shoot at night. The director is going to turn to you and go, can this scene be night? And they're going to expect an answer like that. Okay, so you're going to have to immediately go, and we need to have a lot of courage when it comes to giving directors honest information. Either, yes, actually, this could be the first night of this scene, or the first night scene of this script day. That's going to work. Yes, let's go for it. Or absolutely not. We cut right to, Joe Bob in class, and then the bell lets out and it's 3 p.m. and it's clearly the, afternoon of a school day or something. You need to be able to spit out this information, which means knowing the story at a gut level. Okay. In your continuity breakdown, you are going, and each scene, you're going to identify elements that you must track for shooting out of continuity. A lot of elements, okay? What clothes the actors are wearing, what the set should be dressed like, what time of year it is, what time of day it is. You're going to, again, be putting on your producer hat and always thinking about anticipating and solving problems before they happen on set. Your directors and producers and editors will love you for this. All of your crew members will as well. You will get recommended for work for doing your job, okay? And it's a tricky job, but when you do it well, everyone blesses you with more work, okay? So that's just a little bit of a digression there, but we're anticipating problems and solving them before they happen. So clearing up anything ambiguous while still in pre-production, not waiting till we have 150 crew and cast members on the clock, okay? So the example that I mentioned before, no director would want that to slip by, okay? Why is Lauren showing up to a party in her PJs? Where's her cocktail dress? Oh, oops, we actually shot her leaving, her house in her PJs last week. Do you not remember? How did no one catch that? You're gonna have a director freaking out. How did no one catch this, okay? We catch it in pre-production, okay? So if you can follow along with that logic, that we're simply catching story inconsistencies by focusing intensely on the script in pre-production, and then, of course, not waiting until we're shooting to deal with it. And if you understand the daily steps that do become second nature in honestly just a few days on set, then you can absolutely handle the work that you will be faced with in order to be a mini director, mini producer, screenwriter, representative, actor wingman, editor, advocate, getting paid to showcase your own talent, okay? Or even get your creative work seen by industry professionals thanks to those relationships, okay? Again, the film industry is a lot about relationships. It's a referral-based industry. So this gives you the inner circle relationships and the opportunities to showcase your other talents, okay? So I truly feel that my method is sort of unique. I don't, again, believe in waiting 2 years and getting a PhD in script supervision. I believe in giving you exactly what you need to know to start and then shoving you out into the film marketplace, okay? This method turns old wisdom on its head. It doesn't take years to break in. It skips the waiting. It bypasses some of the nepotism in the industry. And it gives you a meaningful, adventurous career along the way. So I wanted to be an authority at work. I feel like becoming a script supervisor was a great choice for that. Before this, I did have a safe and secure career, okay, financial security and predictability, but I truly was not satisfied, okay? So my work had become very formulaic. We spend like 100,000 hours of our adult lives at work. So I looked inward and I thought to myself, I'm going to do something really scary. I was, by the way, carrying tons of student loan debt from 2 prior degrees that I ended up ultimately not using. I mean, for any length of time. But by listening to my gut, it turned out to be the safest, most lucrative decision for me. So again, paid to learn on the job, which we love. You are learning it by osmosis while getting paid. Couple more examples of this. Again, I do like to show you other people telling you this, so you're not just hearing it from me. So another quick clip here.
Okay, Regina, you started training. I think you knocked the training out in how long?
My train rides, it was a week.
You did the training while on the train. And how soon after you did the training did you land a paying gig as a script supervisor?
Within a month.
You did one short project. After that one short, you got a paid gig.
Yes.
Okay. I heard some good things about your performance on that paid gig. Can you tell us how that went? Your paid gig?
That's what I was doing the organizing, the talking to the different departments, putting out potential fires before they got inflamed.
You just emerged as a leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the second day, even the DP was turning to me like, so what are we doing today? I'm like, all right. So then the department head started referring to me. So I just started kind of took over and slowly became I was running the day.
You have a great set of communication skills. And so you knew how to meet people where they were and communicate with them effectively so that you had a whole crew and cast listening to you, the script supervisor. So basically you started running sets in addition to script supervising. And the director rewarded you with a couple of things. One had to do with your pay rate and one had to do with your titles. Can you share what that was?
She almost doubled my rate, and she wrote a note saying, this is for also helping out on, being our set producer. So taking on that line, she almost doubled my rate. We're going to make sure that you're set producer. I'm like, great.
She almost doubled your pay for the whole gig and gave you a set producer credit in addition to that. In addition to your supervisor. Okay.
Yeah.
You and I discussed that you'd be very valuable sort of producing post-production. And she has an Emmy award-winning editor. And I think that will turn into a producer credit for you in post-production as well. That's my theory. And now you have another filmmaker who he has committed to bringing you on as a producer through the duration of the project, which is coming up. So do you think that there is a bias to action, or should we wait until the perfect time and until we feel like we're experts and we can do it perfectly the minute we walk on set?
No, if you feel even 75%, 50, 75%, just go. And you have to remember that when you're on set, nobody's watching you to see what you're doing. They're all too busy worrying about their own department. So don't be afraid to speak up. That's the thing, is that,
You need to have the courage to boss around the bosses a little bit, or lead them, not boss them, but lead them to what they should do. I mean, honestly, this is all about results. Script supervising is about getting results. It's about getting the right outcomes that we want, and doing it in an efficient way where everybody's happy and we're saving time and money. It's a mini producer job, and you certainly proved that when you went to set as a script supervisor and walked away a producer. So and I appreciate you just taking action right out of the gate. Right, Whitney, you jumped into the training with 2 feet, which I love. I love people who just take immediate action and go for it. How quickly did you finish the training?
Probably a little over a week. It was amazing, and the training was awesome. So after finishing the training, I felt prepared. Right. After putting myself out there, I randomly got an email from someone saying, hey, we saw your information on the website. We would love to talk to you about a film that's coming to Birmingham soon. And this past Friday, I got a call with an official offer.
And you had 2 short film credits leading into this paid feature film with a huge Hollywood star. I don't think that Hollywood star would mind if we said their name, do you?
I don't think so. Matthew McConaughey.
Okay. Landed a 35-day shoot, Matthew McConaughey feature film after 2 student films after a week of training. And you are so completely prepared. They had to hire you. They loved us because you had the courage to put yourself out there. That's what some people hesitate to do. It's like they don't want to put themselves out there because it's something new. Like, for example, you have no film background. I mean, your background is education and tech.
Yes, absolutely. Growing up, I always had that hidden passion for television and film, and I could never just ignore that passion.
You are retiring from your former industry?
I am. I have officially resigned from my current job. I am ready.
You segued into becoming a producer this early in your script supervising career?
Oh, there's the opportunity to step into more than just the one role. I am on the other side of 50, I'm 50 something. And so I don't believe it's ever too late to step into something new and a new adventure.
So would you say there is a bias to action, or do we have to wait around for the perfect time to do something?
Oh, definitely bias to action. You can't wait around. There is never a perfect time for anything.
Be there so that I can meet the right people for my acting career. That is my number one, but I view script supervising as an education and a huge networking opportunity. So I didn't go to film school. I didn't go to acting school. I'm a real person from the teaching world. Okay, this is what he said. Hi, Cole. I'm name producer. I saw your resume and worked with Jennifer Carriere at. I know how awesome she is and that you're more than prepared learning from her. We want to hire you for this amount of money for these days. Does this work for you?
And I had no life, honestly. I needed creativity in my life. I needed to really be involved in making and creating film.
So you bring up a good point about non-production experience prior to following your dreams of being an influential filmmaking professional, because I did not start my career in film. Film work is my third career.
Age absolutely is not a factor. It was kind of a factor for me in doing stunts because I'm falling down stairs, that I can do this no matter how old I get and not age out.
It's like people ask me if they're actors or stunt people, am I going to be able to go on auditions and show up for, acting jobs or stunt jobs or whatever if I'm a script supervisor? And the answer is yes. It's like once you make the relationships, you get called all the time.
So I do have a lot of actors actually who use this role to get the relationships. I just had a young woman in North Carolina. She went and did a show in Chicago that she found through a member in my program. And she ended up getting a role within like her first week, knocked their socks off as a script supervisor, got another title on top of that. So so it works for people who want to be actors as well. We have a couple more little examples here, but I will say that people are sort of confounded by how this seems to work over and over. Like no one understands how we're creating producers, directors, and screenwriters with no prior experience and hours of training. Again, I feel that it is the system that I created with those many years of high pressure, fast paced TV. If I showed you the call sheets, you wouldn't believe me. I mean, it was insanely high pressure, but it produced a system that works really, really quickly. And then I apply that same system to training people and shoving them into the workforce. So a couple more quick examples, and then we're going to Q&A. So please do keep a running list of your Q&As, and we will absolutely.
We have like 3 questions that we'll go to when you're finished with them.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so one last little quickie here.
Out the gate from training, that led to a paid pilot and a paid feature. And then all kinds of connections who are constantly tagging you and recommending you for work.
Yeah, and that was like within 2 weeks of starting the program, because I started taking my screenwriting more seriously and was like, how can I get into the room with the directors and producers and start forming connections in the industry? And I was like, I just know this is meant for me. And it was just like, yeah, totally felt it. And then I like completed the course in like 2 days, and then I got my first paid gig without even submitting myself to anything. I mean, I have formed like really tight-knit relationships with producers and directors and even like lead actors and stuff. All of those people, even the gaffers, the key grips, have been sending me job opportunities. Once you form those relationships, people want to work with you again. And because I've worked so closely to like the director and the producers, like now I'm like, maybe I want to learn how to direct and produce too. And like the actress that was the executive producer on the pilot I did, her and the director afterwards said that she texted me and was like, we were discussing about how amazing you are, and we think you would be a really, really great director. Like, oh.
Email on day 4. Day 4 of my first feature, and the director producer just sent me this, and it was a snapshot of them enclosing a contract with a profit share.
Right. That's right. Yeah. A lot of people are going into this having already had experience in the film industry. I have none whatsoever, never worked in the film industry. So like, if that's your fear, like I guarantee you, like just get on set and put it into practice, and you'll realize that it is something that you can do regardless of your background.
This is a much needed position that's so overlooked in the industry. Once you get in, you can kind of make waves. At the wrap party, I was informed that I was the best script supervisor they've ever seen or worked with. Hard work that I put in on their film set, they were willing to, more than willing, eager, have discussions around a film project that I want to do. I've never had a decent connection like this to actually pitch to. And fingers crossed, we'll start work on a thriller sometime next year.
You know, they did email me to say that you're a lifelong team member now.
Back to sort of what is a recurring thematic idea behind all of these questions and what Jennifer and Nikki were talking about early in the Zoom, geography and proximity. Physical proximity is actually sort of like a big part of it. And like, how close are you? How close are you to the job that you want? Like, not in terms of how close you think you feel, like how physically close are you to a person who has the job that you want? And you will learn via absorption if you're focused on learning as opposed to climbing. That you will climb as you learn. The two things are kind of part and parcel.
This is why I'm pushing people into script supervision. It's like you're in the inner circle, you are absorbing, you're by osmosis. My process is to be psychically connected to my director. I do totally agree with your point about get near the people whose jobs you would like to one day have.
Y'all are learning from the best. This is not to take anything away from any of the other incredible folks that I've worked with over my career, but you are learning from the best. So pay attention. All right, bye guys.
So fun. Okay, I know we have questions. Yay.
Yes. Okay, so the first one, can you hear me, Jennifer?
Yes, I sure can.
Okay, perfect. So the first one is, so as a script supervisor, you are pretty much a department of your own.
Yeah.
What happens if you're on a 35-day shoot and you have to miss a day? Like, how do you have a backup person, or what happens if you have to call in? I mean, people get sick.
Then the production has to get someone to replace you. So we are human beings, we're not machines, okay? So when you can't go to work for a health issue or an emergency, you cannot go to work for, we have to call someone else. It is the production's responsibility. So of course, we always do everything we can to try to cover ourselves as a courtesy. You become so close to the other people in your market, because you're always calling each other. Hey, I need a second unit script supervisor. You free for a week? We need splinter unit on Saturday. We need stunt unit next month. It's like we're always job sharing anyway. So I have people on speed dial. I'm on other people's speed dial. One of my students actually who was in one of the montages, she's an actor. She had a callback. And I said, I'll cover you, just give me the date and time and I'll be there. Just give me the notes, So absolutely, we have, just like all normal humans, we have to not be at work sometime. And that is fine. I had a huge health crisis, by the way, which I'm fine, in 2021, where I was needing to be in the hospital every Friday for like 5 weeks. We made it work. I didn't miss, the shows went on. I had substitutes, and we were fine. So yeah.
Awesome. Elise Riley wants to know, what is the pay scale and range, and is there a gap between the women and men making money in this position?
No gap between the women and the men, I will say that. So there are standard rates depending on the budget of the project. Okay, so it really does depend on the market and the project and the format. I love working TV because TV rates are nice and high, and TV schedules tend to be longer than features, but that's not always true. Sometimes features are many months long. I'm on a feature right now with a rate I'm very happy with, and it's not some huge budget project. So I don't want to give you a figure because it depends entirely on the budget, the format, and the market. But the money is nice. I will say that, especially in Atlanta. Like, we are so fortunate on the East Coast. I will say that. I don't want to say anything about to put down, rates on the West Coast, but we are very, very lucky on the East Coast. I will say that.
Awesome. Okay, I think it's Tynika. If I mess that up, Miss Lewis, I'm sorry. I believe it's Tynika. How far in advance do we get the script before production so we can create continuity breakdowns and other pre-production sheets?
Brilliant question. As soon as you're offered the gig, ask for the script right away. Now, in this last instance, my They did not, they gave me a script to interview with, okay, so that I had a sense of the story before I got to interview. So that was wonderful. So I had already read a first draft of the script, but it was not the production draft that we were going to be proceeding with. So I had to wait like 11 days. I was getting really nervous about it. I'm like, I need to start breaking something down. And they didn't want me to break down the former draft. So get the script as soon as you possibly can. Oftentimes they have a production draft that they'll send to you that same day. Now, if you're getting hired 3 weeks, 4 weeks ahead of the, first shoot day, you're not going to get paid for 3 or 4 weeks of prep. I will say that. Your prep days are going to be made in your deal. You negotiate them like you negotiate everything about your deal. But nonetheless, I cannot stress this enough, start prepping on your own so that you're walking into prep already prepped, okay? Just start, again, you need to know the script at a gut level. So just start your process the minute you get hired, as soon as you can get a script.
Awesome. Artasia tried to scan the QR code on your presentation and she's not receiving an email back. So what's the best way to connect with you? I did put the script supervisorceo.com website in the group chat, but is there a better way? Is there a reason she's not receiving the email back?
Let me see here.
If not, you could look at it later. I just didn't know if it was something right.
Let me see, Artasia, if I have your.
That's okay. Let's get the questions in Artasia. We'll take a look at that in the end, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
All right, no worries. Let's see. So how far in advance? We got that one. Is there a guild for script supervisors to join? This is from Abigail.
Yes, and so it depends on where you live. Since we're on the East Coast, that would be 161. That's a union, not a guild, though. So yes, we're IATSE covered by IATSE Local 161. Many states are right to work states where you are not required to join. I have people who choose not to join because they like to play in the indie world and they don't want to. I joined as soon as possible. And honestly, I will say this, off the record, the requirements for getting into the union are written as a certain way, but when you have a relationship with the union and you're in touch with them frequently, like I got in way sooner than I expected to based upon the requirements on paper. Okay, I was just sharing with them every single job, sharing reference letters with them, in communication with them frequently, and I got in way earlier. So yes, I'm a big believer in joining the union if you can, but that's of course completely up to you.
Awesome. Chantel White, I believe that may have answered your question as well. Her question was, does the position qualify you for the guilds and unions? So I think that we answered that one.
It's IATSE Local 161 if you're in Atlanta.
Gotcha. Alexis Graham, for the person filling in for the script supervisor, excuse me, do they have a chance to read a script ahead of time, or do they solely rely on the prior script supervisor's notes?
That's a great question, because sometimes it's like you're bringing someone in with 12 hours to go. If they can read the script, they should. I have had to step in without being able to read the script, and I'm going off of the main script supervisor's continuity and notes. And the production gets that, okay? Like they understand. Like one of the things that we learn both in my program and once you start is how to prioritize what really matters, okay? So while there may be tons of prep that goes into prepping a full feature or a full episode of TV, you need to know what you need to know when you need to know it, okay? So you only need to know, for example, 1 day of continuity and 1 day of where I'm picking up in the paperwork to carry it on. So it's not like you need to step in and somehow magically have 2 months of, shooting and a week and a half of prep under your belt. No, you just need to know what you need for that day. That is very much true of like second unit work. A lot of people, in my program, they end up doing second unit work to break in and start making more relationships and getting really, really good pay. So they only need to know what they need to know for that day. Okay, that's like the simplest way to put it. You do not need to somehow absorb, months of work or something like that overnight.
Awesome. Ava wants to know, is there anywhere you share your templates for paperwork?
In my program, honestly, yeah. So it's all like watermarked and yeah, part of just my workbook and materials and stuff that I provide.
Okay. Culturator Productions wants to know, I understand it's a referral-based job, but is there a resume ever necessary? Is a resume ever necessary?
Yes, and so that's one of the biggest beginner questions, or at least non-script supervisor transitioning to script supervisor questions. I have 0 credits. What's my resume going to say? We do a resume and cover letter clinic in my program, so that like completely knocks that objection down. Like we modify it using the most important and relevant transferable experience, and there's a whole template, and it works really, really well for getting people work without any prior work.
Okay, awesome. Let's make sure I got everybody. I'm just kind of scrolling back. Let's see. Chantel wants to know, how long did it take you to feel comfortable on your first gig?
So my
Maybe it
first
wasn't your
gig,
first gig, but go ahead.
yeah, my first gig was an unpaid 48-hour film fest gig where I was both the AD and the script supervisor, which actually makes a lot of sense because we have a whole lot of overlapping interests and responsibilities. Okay, so that's one of your closest allies on set. So it was a 48-hour film fest. It made a lot of sense for me to do both. I was so busy, I didn't have time to be nervous. I did my prep, the way that I learned to do it. Again, I had a mentor who showed me how, and I didn't have time to be nervous. And so just the throwing myself into it and doing it and just working on getting results just taught me like kind of in the field. And then my second gig was a short film that a kind of big TV actor in New Orleans funded for herself. And so we had all these professionals on the gig, but I was volunteering. And the key grip was a longtime key grip in the industry in New Orleans, immediately said, "You're talented and you're working hard. You need to go apply for this feature that's shooting over here. I'm going to recommend you and you're going to get a director interview." And I got that. So that I got my first paying gig after 2 short volunteer opportunities. And that's actually the exact sort of like statistic that we have in this program. It's just a couple of shorts and then boom, paid feature. So yeah, we not leaning into those fears, but rather just leaning into getting results and working the system. You're going to have some nerves your very first day, but you're going to feel comfortable in just a couple of days.
Awesome. Tanika wants to know editing. She says editing takes a while. How long do you usually work with editors?
So that's a great question. I give them my wrap binder and then it's like, au revoir, we'll see you next time. Hit me up if you have any questions. But the thing is, you introduce yourself to your editor, usually via phone, so you don't get to see them often on set. It's rare. You let them know I'm here, let me know how the timings are going. Let me know how the notes are going for you. Is there anything that you want differently? I'm in touch, and I encourage people to be in touch with their editors throughout the shoot to make sure they're happy and loving everything. And then, by the time we're wrapped, your editor would have already asked you what they need from you. If they needed something else, if they needed a certain, note-taking style to be modified or something for their needs or something like that. That very first feature film I was telling you I got in Louisiana, that editor ended up recommending me for my next job. Okay. And I was brand new, but I was in touch with him. I was making sure he felt, well served by my notes and by everything, so yeah, like, again, it's all about relationships and over delivering, okay, to your colleagues. And so it very much applies to what you're delivering to the editor as well. Over deliver and make sure they're happy.
Okay. Alexis wants to know, when does your training program start back up?
I've been closed for a few months now, but I'm going to open it up for you guys if anybody from this Zoom today wants to be a part of it. But just scan the QR code, and I did get your email address, so I can email anyone who scans the QR code. I can send them information. I'm going to open for a few days, and because it's WIFTA 50, I'm going to give you guys in WIFTA a discount to work with me. So I will share with you. It's actually, I think, WIFTA 25. I'll just put it in the chat. WIFTA 25 will be your discount of 25% off to work with me if you would like to.
And we'll also share that with the members that couldn't be here today. And we appreciate you and your time and all of that. Several people said thank you, and we're grateful that you're here. She said, please do. This is Culture Rated Productions. Please do. I've done 3 shorts as a scripty, and I'm ready to get paid jobs. Is scripty a bad word, Jennifer?
Okay.
I've heard this so many times. Like, they're like, you know what? Don't call us scripties. Like, some people is like, you can call us a script supervisor, but don't call us scripties. Is it a bad word, Jennifer? We need to know this.
Okay. In the same way that we respect how people want to be referred to, If a script supervisor does not want to be called scripty, then just default to not using scripty, okay? I will tell you the term scripty used towards me has only ever made me feel loved, okay? Like it's always been applied in an incredibly affectionate way. I will tell you that on set, we oftentimes call stunt players stunties, we call actors realies, okay? So we're gonna do the stunty take, and then we're gonna do the really take, because we're trying to distinguish between the stunt players and the actors. Of course, we know they're, thespians and they're, stunt performing athletes, but, it's like there's a familiarity on set. You walk away family when you're on a project. So I have personally never been offended by the term. On the other hand, I totally respect other people's preference to not be called that. So I just say to my students, like, as a, just being cautious, I wouldn't call other people that. But if someone calls you that and you're not offended, which I never have been, it's okay. Or you can say, can you please not call me that? I prefer to be referred to as script supervisor. Okay. You have every right to ask for, whatever terminology makes you feel comfortable. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. So give us kind of a timeline, Jennifer, with your presentation about how much longer, so we can know if anyone needs to leave or stay till the end. What would you give us an estimate on?
So, I mean, I could just talk about details of the program, or we could do a continuity exercise, but that's like a 45-minute thing. So
We won't be able to do that today.
We could leave it here as a matter of respecting your time. Okay. But I will encourage anyone who wants to become a script supervisor, if you will scan the code on this page. It did work, just so you know. You just didn't get an email yet, because I physically do the emailing back. It's not like an automated thing. I will physically email you.
And Jennifer, how long have you been a script supervisor now?
08. So what is that, 16 years?
16 years. And then really quick, if you had to go back and tell young Jennifer or younger Jennifer, something, or give her some advice when you first started in this role, what would it be?
Get a mentor and go straight to work. And thankfully that happened anyway for me, and it was the best possible thing. And I will tell you something else. I started, and then boom, writer's strike. So really I started at the end of 07, but I didn't get rolling again until February, I guess, of 08. So I resigned from the Corps of Engineers, got into film production, immediate strike, got back in, ended up meeting my future mentor, and then the rest is history. So so do it. Like just take the action. It's something new, it's something adventurous, and it's insanely rewarding, not just financially, but just in terms of just adventures and relationships and experiences. So I love it very much. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. So
awesome. Awesome. Did you have any final slides that you wanted to show us, something that you're like, they need to know this information?
I have a whole nother, it kind of gets to be like another 30 minutes if I move into the next stuff. So I know in the interest of time, I should just leave it here, I think.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm totally available to anyone, who wants to talk more or learn. So.
Okay. Awesome. So like I said, I'll put in the chat, ladies, the script supervisor CEO. I will post it again. This is her website. You can go to scriptsupervisorceo.com. She's also on social media at Script Supervisor CEO. I am going to see if we have any final questions. If you do have final questions right now, please put them in the chat or just raise your hand. You can come on and talk to Jennifer. We appreciate her so much for being here. I just posted that again.
I will say the best thing is to just, oh yeah, you know what, on the website, you can hit, I want the free training or whatever, but if you use this code, I'll know you came from this WIFTA meeting, FYI. Sorry to interrupt you, Glenetta.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Do you want to come out of that so they can see your beautiful face?
Okay.
So do we have any final questions? Anybody else want to raise your hand and say anything else to Jennifer while we have her? Because after this, you got to pay her.
You can learn more. You never have to. You have the option though, if you want to.
Monet, go ahead.
Hi, just a quick question. Could you share a brief description of what the program entails? Like, is it course by course, unit by unit? And like, if there are any prerequisites to completion, like how do you know a person has mastered what you're teaching them to be prepared for set?
Very good question. So basically, the training is done online via videos, quizzes, lessons, assignments, and workbooks. So you can do that, go at your own pace. It was designed to be a 2-day intensive. So I have it broken up into modules that are morning 1, afternoon 1, morning 2, afternoon 2. You've heard from a number of people. Some people blew right through it in the original 2 days. The reason I stopped doing it live for 2 days is because we have people all over the world in different time zones, and inevitably people would have to miss huge chunks of it because they couldn't, those hours didn't work for people in Australia or Hawaii, and people have lives and they have to do things on the weekends. So I gave people the option of spacing it out as long as they want to, or being able to blow through it in as little as 16 hours. Immediately upon completion, you submit to me your initial pass at your resume and cover letter. Your bonus is the resume and cover letter clinic, which you have access to instantly so that you have the perfect template. I then give you feedback and send it back to you if I have revisions. We also have a digital script supervising workshop that is a bonus, and then a referral Rolodex, which is all about getting that network of people who are going to start recommending you for work before they've ever worked with you. In addition to that, we meet bi-weekly. Actually, right now we're meeting bi-weekly around my shooting schedule. So I have a mentorship meeting coming up in 2 hours. And if you can't make the meetings, you can always get a replay or have some time with me on the phone. I offer literal phone support while you're shooting on set every single day. So oftentimes after, 3 or 4 shows, you guys don't even need me anymore, but I literally have my phone. You guys give me your shoot dates and your hours, and you have access to me via phone to, if you just have a question about an eye line or something, like, I've had people like send me screenshots, like, is this eye line working? Or if you have some, a personnel issue, like, a production coordinator is trying to keep me out of rehearsal or whatever the case may be, any issue you have on set, you have my phone number for 911 set support. So I think I've covered a lot there. Again, I'm being in the interest of time. Anything unclear about that in terms of the program details?
No, that sounded great. So it's like you said, it's a program, but it's a mentorship into a community.
Yes, in the community, of course. Yes, so you have access to our own online, it's kind of like Facebook or whatever, but it's through my platform community. So a lot of people end up sharing jobs with each other. Like the woman who I said was an actor in North Carolina, and she got a gig in Chicago and became the script supervisor and an actor in the show. She got that from another Chicago-based member. So there's a lot of job sharing. We're always talking about jobs and where to get them within those mentorship meetings.
Awesome. Alyssa, yes, the replay will, and this is for everyone, the replay is going to be on our YouTube channel, and we'll get that out sometime next week. So you can go back and watch everything and review the notes and all of that great stuff. So any final questions from anyone? I don't see any more hands. I have gone down all the questions. I want to make sure. Oh, I think I missed a hand. Hold on. I'm looking, y'all. Give me a second. Culturated Productions, yes, come on. Go ahead, what's your question?
I think you might be muted there, Culturated.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I just want to be clear. So after you submit your email, you will contact us, and then everything goes from there as far as like using the code that we received today and everything else?
Yes. Are you, I think I see, did you already hit the QR code?
I surely did.
Oh, okay. So I see you and Artasia here. So yes, I'll send you an email with how to proceed if you're interested. Yeah.
Okay, and then that's the same thing. I heard you mention something about like a free something as well.
Oh, on the website. So if you go to scriptsupervisorceo.com, you can just choose to, like, I want the free workshop, which is much more that I presented today, but it's like a free overview of what you're getting yourself into as a script supervisor, basically. So you can, and I'll also get your email address that way. And I'll be able to see it on this date. So I'll be able to tell that you were in WIFTA, so you get the code as well, or your discount, will apply.
Okay, yeah, I want to do both. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Anybody else? Any final questions? I think we got everyone. Okay, so we're going to get ready to close out. Do we have any board members that are on that want to say anything before we close out? Any of our WIFTA board? Nope, I think we're good. Jennifer, can you just give us a final word of inspiration? This has been, let's see, we had the pandemic, and then we had the writer strike and the actor strike. It's been a little rough, not to mention the whole we may pull the tax credits, or the tax credits may change for Georgia, and people are kind of uneasy about the industry right now. Could you just give us maybe a final word of inspiration to help these ladies push forward in their career and possibly moving forward into a new role as a script supervisor?
Let's hold on to each other. We really need each other, especially when there are challenging times, like we just experienced with the double strike. And of course, there could be more strikes. There could be tax, rebate changes. Let's hold on to each other. I will say, when I was at my most fearful stage, during the double strikes, when I'm seeing people in pain, I'm seeing people, struggling. And of course, I had my mentorship group that we meet all the time. Let's hold on to each other, and the film and TV industry is not going away. We are not going away. Strikes are needed, they have to happen. We can't allow studios to squeeze us out of, a fair wage and fair deal. So strikes are part of it. And while they're very, very tough, they're very, very worth it. So let's just focus on each other and taking care of our mental and physical health while we go through these challenging times. But there is always a way forward, and film and TV production is not going away.
Perfect. Very well said. Jennifer, thank you for everything. Thank you for being here. WIFTA members and guests, thank you guys for being here. We will see everyone on Thursday in person at CNC Studio. Jennifer, have an amazing weekend. And thank you for pouring into us and sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone have a great rest of your weekend, okay? Teresa, you're good?
I just got back.
Okay. You have anything you want to say?
As always, thank you, especially Jennifer. You always put on some great stuff. So I'm just looking forward to all of the great things that WIFTA is going to be doing. So please stay abreast to, the web newsletters and the website.
Very cool. Very cool. It's great to see you, Teresa.
Awesome. And if you're not a member, but you're here today, please rejoin. We have some great things coming up that's going to be exclusive for WIFTA members only. So we want to make sure you rejoin and join us so we can hold on to each other. I love it. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.